Hi, this video is to show the features of the new coreBOS family member, which is a Web Service Development tool. This tool is for teaching and learning the coreBOS Web Service interface and serves also as a common ground for documenting the enhancements, the features, the functionality, some of the tickets that we make, or even just to show somebody who doesn't know how exactly it's working to get some real code into an example, a very concrete example of how things should be working. It basically has three components, which is a query, an online query interface, a list types where we can see exactly all the types and the fields that the user we logged in with has access to, and then a real code executor where we can really just show the exact functionality that's needed, or the exact code that's needed to get some functionality working. Okay, as you can see, the first page is a login screen where we can log into the site we want with the user we want. I'm going to log into a coreBOS work test site we have here with this access key. Okay, once we log in, we are greeted with the query box where we can just type in our queries to get some code, some results of the information that's in the system that we just connected to. For example, if I launch this query, I get a nice little table down here with the results. We can also just kind of get anything from, we can launch any query that's supported by the REST interface, and we should just get the results down here with all the columns and everything. If we do something wrong, we should get an error. Let's try that. Okay, so it's a nice way of being able to see what information you have access to, if your queries are correct, and just have a look. The next option here is the list types. List types will show all the modules that this user that we've connected with has access to, what they can do in each one, if they can read, write, whatever, and finally a list of all the fields and all the information that we get from those fields. It also shows that in a nice tabled format. For example, here I have campaigns. It shows me the REST ID that I have to use every time I send in a record or out, or I get an out. And this user can create, can update, can delete, and can retrieve. It's the admin user, so should be able to do everything. And then we have a list of all the fields. The label name, the actual name that we need to put in the REST parameters for the calls, and what we can do, if it's mandatory, if it's null, if it's editable, the sequence also in the blocks, so we can order them if we're creating the customer portal that we created is all based on this, so it uses the sequence that it gets from the application to show the fields on the forms in the customer portal. If you're creating a mobile device or anything like that, you can just do the same. The blocks with all the information of the blocks, the type of this field, the internal UI type, which is nice. The customer portal kind of emulates the functionality of the fields in coreBOS, so we kind of keep that logic from the internals of the system into the customer portal. We can jump to any module, and we see basically the same information. If it's a pick list, we see that it gives us the values. If it's a reference field, it gives us the modules that it referenced. And here we have another quick access button to go up and down. Kind of nice information that you need just to if you need to know, the name of a field or something. And finally, we've added a test code option here, where basically we'll be able to type in any PHP code and get the output of that result and the debug of it. So we can see exactly what's going on with our code. This is actually a PHP editor, so we can just kind of do the typical stuff that everybody does. If we execute that, we get the hello world output here. If we want to see anything in the message below, we just have to load that into the debug message variable, and that should be all we need to get that in the basket. Okay, so that's really nice way of being able to document the code, to test our code and the like. Here we have, let's clear that out, and here I have a load button with a bunch of examples, because obviously we can type code here, but what's really powerful is that we can show people how to do things. And for example, if you want to launch a query, we can load that query, which is just an example, and here we have the code that is needed to get that. Okay, we have a select from contacts, we have to URL encode that and set up the parameters, call the URL. We have a bunch of we have a debug message function, which we can give it arrays and the like, so it just kind of sets it up for us really nice. And then we kind of just echo out anything that we need. In this case, it picks up the result from this select all contacts and converts it into a table. So you can just execute that, and so we can see I get my table here with all the results, and below all the messages with the exact formatting that came out from the response and the like. So it's a really nice way of being able to see the code, exactly what it's doing, and without all the overhead of setting things up and the like. So also, one of the main reasons we did this, I mean, besides helping people to get this to use the REST interface, which is very powerful, is to document things. For example, we've added a get PDF output to the REST interface, so we can get the invoice or the sales order through the REST interface. So for example, here if I put 798, which is is an invoice, no, 89, which is an invoice that that it exists in the system that I'm connected to, and I execute this, I should see the exact output here with which sends me the whole PDF in base64 correlated, and I have a download button here which I can just click and to see the real functionality of it sending it to me, and hopefully that should open my PDF reader. Okay, here it comes, and that should give us this invoice exactly perfect. Okay, so besides being able to really test the functionality and everything, it makes it easy, kind of, as you see here. I just changed the value here, and all of a sudden it worked, and it's a kind of easy thing to play with and learn and document things. All this code is available on GitHub. It is you can also participate in development. I have a roadmap. The next thing that I want to do is open another test code option here, where we can develop with the JavaScript library, because the JavaScript library is very, very important, and also going to be optimizing that a lot in the future. And just also note that this is a very kind of dangerous application. You shouldn't have this lying around in any production server. Okay, this is for development and documentation. And finally, just one quick comment, in that this is not really exclusive to coreBOS. It should work with any vTiger CRM that has a REST interface that includes version 6. So anybody that wants to help out, they're more than welcome. Thanks for listening.